What's up, everyone? This is Ben Falcon's Media Corner back again with a brand new AK After I Saw review episode for today. This one's going to be on another release from 2021, which I want to get this one done so I can just focus on other stuff. And so today's review is going to be my review on the 2021 supernatural horror film, and that is The Unholy. This comes to us. This was directed by by this man who was a screenwriter for a few Disney films, like The Jungle Book 2 and Pooh's Henflump Halloween movie, as well as being the writer of Hercules 2014 version with The Rock, as well as the writer of The Huntsman Winter's War. So this is his directorial debut, and this is a Sony Screen Gems horror film produced by Sam Raimi. And in this movie, we follow Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character, who is a journalist, who he discovers this girl named Alice who has these special powers, which can help anyone if they're either sick. And later on there's this whole and soon we see everyone thinks it's a whole big miracle, it's a great miracle, but then soon there's some dark stuff that's going on behind. Soon we start to see some dark side of it, and stuff, and some creepy stuff happens throughout the whole majority of this film. So that's pretty much the simple story really of The Unholy. Now, I didn't know what to expect from this movie. I didn't see much of the trailers, but I did see the trailer before I went to see the movie. And I didn't know much of any of the stars in the film, except you got Jeffrey Dean Morgan, William Sadler, and Cary Elwes. Cary Elwes has done horror before, like the first Saw movie, which I enjoyed. And for the director, I didn't even know this was actually his first film as a director, and I didn't even know he was a writer on a few of those movies I mentioned, which was, like I said, which were The Jungle Book 2, Pooh's Henflump Halloween movie, Hercules 2014, as well as The Huntsman Winter's War. And I didn't even know this was another Sony Screen Gems horror film, because there's a few Sony Screen Gems films that mostly I do see nowadays involve horror, which few of them I do tend to enjoy a bit, and most of them I keep seeing nowadays aren't usually my kind of like cup of tea. But I saw this movie was playing at Odeon, and I thought I was going to see this film because I had nothing else planned. So I went to see this a couple of days after cinemas reopened, and I went to see this after I saw Peter Rabbit 2. And after watching this movie, I gotta be completely honest, I did not like this one. This is definitely not a good supernatural horror film, because it's just one of those films that you've already seen before in the past. Some are actually pretty damn good, like the Conjuring movies. And there's a few ones that Blumhouse have done that are pretty good. But this one, unfortunately, isn't one of them, because this, like I said, isn't really that good here. But I didn't flat out hate everything about this movie. There's only one positive I can say that I didn't mind in this film, which the performances are not too bad. They were fine for the most part, although for their acting talents on screen for a film like this, I kind of found they were pretty wasted, really. And the concept for the film is pretty much, it was kind of like, this film kind of like borrowed a few stuff from a few other supernatural horror films. Like, say they borrowed some elements from The Conjuring and put it into this film. It kind of felt like that. And a few acts of the film, it's just kind of, they were just obviously, you can obviously just tell like what was going to happen and all that, especially after it gets to the second act. You can tell what's gonna happen from there, and then when it gets to the final act, you're like, yep, you can tell what's gonna happen. It feels like you got hit in the head or something, and then you just wake up and you're like, oh, you can tell what's gonna happen and all that. And the scares in the film weren't even that scary. They didn't make me jump out of my skin or anything while I was watching it, because most of the scares just really weren't even that scary. And none of the characters were even that much memorable, and I didn't even care for some of these characters, because I was getting pretty much bored with this movie, with nothing that really made me amazed or whatsoever. And this definitely isn't a good popcorn flick. Yeah, it kind of felt like it would have been a popcorn movie of sorts, like bring your mates over and just watch a scary film like this and have some popcorn. This film kind of felt like that, but to me, in the end, the Unholy, it really wasn't that scary of a movie, and it really wasn't that good of a movie either. It's definitely just one of those films you've already seen before in the past that have done well, but this one isn't really good here. But if you're a fan of these kind of like supernatural horror films, or if you're a fan of the cast, I don't know why to recommend this film, because honestly, I just don't really suggest you see this film, because this really isn't good of a movie here. I didn't hate this movie. I just really wasn't a fan of this one. I'm going to give The Unholy a 1 out of 5. Just like I said, it's just one of those films that you've may have seen before in the past that have done well, while some of them nowadays just tend to be like copycats and stuff. And this one I would say is just definitely one that is kind of like a copycat to any kind of supernatural horror film. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching for my AK After a Store review on the Unholy, and let me know what you think of this film if you have seen this already. Did you personally had a good time with it, or were you not really a fan of this one? So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more reviews, and as always, this has been Fulgens Media Corner signing off.